What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video here, starting a new series actually, and the series is going to be called just the basics of running. It's going to be geared towards, or aimed towards, new runners. Today, obviously, as you can see, top 5 mistakes for new runners. So, and this is really for everybody. Everybody makes mistakes when you first start out, so don't think you're special. You're not. I'm not. Nobody I've ever met has been perfect. So we all make mistakes when we first start. I'll have to do maybe a video about that later, about the mistakes that I made when I first started, because there's quite a few. All kinds of fun stuff. But we're gonna get started on the list here, guys. So here we go. So number five, let's just take this guy down. Boom. Number 5 is gonna be stretching. So stretching, I am extremely guilty of this one. In fact, sometimes even nowadays, I run with either outstretching or like stretching for maybe 30 seconds or something like that, like not much. And even, in fact, sometimes I'll even play basketball and just straight up not stretch whatsoever. Maybe I will afterwards, but not before. So I'm a repeat offender here. Now, I get away with it somehow. I haven't necessarily run into injury or anything as a result, but the reason why you want to stretch is, because you want to keep your muscles, loose and warm, stretched out. You don't want them getting stiff. You don't want injury, anything like that. So stretching is very important. You want to stretch before your run. You want to stretch after. Some people stretch during. I typically don't. For me, it's more important to stretch after. It seems like I have more problems if I don't stretch after. So just kind of see how your body handles it, basically. But also, if you're sitting at work, you're sitting at the desk there, you got your work done, you got a spare minute or two, hop up and do some stretching. I mean, it's good for you just to be flexible overall, not just for running, but just in general. So stretching, very important. Let's move on to number 4, and that is going to be, let me just find it here, gear. So gear can be great, but when you're first starting, you're probably going to overcomplicate the heck out of it. Normally when you're first starting, you're not really running that many miles. You're kind of learning the ropes, so to speak. So yeah, you're going to probably need a pair of running shoes, obviously, and some shorts or whatever, and some sunglasses, okay? I mean, those are the basic things that you need. Maybe an iPod or an MP3 player or a phone to listen to Pandora or a podcast or something like that. Outside of that, when you're first starting, you really don't need much. Your phone's going to do most of the stuff for you. You can have a Strava on there. You can have any other app that you want to choose to track your miles. You can put on your phone, and you can do it that way. So you don't necessarily need the fancy watch yet. If you've been running for 3 weeks or a month and you decide, hey, it's going to be worth it long term for me to invest in a Garmin or in a heart rate monitor or in some more expensive gear, anything more expensive, more high-tech, whatever. If it comes to the point where you're going to be continuing running and spending that money is going to be justified, then sure. But when you're first starting running, don't worry about it. You don't need all that stuff to start. Just get out there and run and focus on that. Worry about all the fancy tech gear and stuff later when you know more about running in general. So number 3 on the list, guys, intimidation. I guess this is kind of a hard one to classify, but a lot of people quit or don't even start in the first place simply because the whole experience of working out either in a gym or in a public place is intimidating to people. They don't want people looking at them or judging them or anything when they're in what seems to be, for some people, a vulnerable spot, so to speak. I know and I'll have to put over here on this side, I'm going to put a picture of myself up here. When I first started running, I was a lot heavier, as you guys can see, so I fell in that same boat where I really didn't want to go out in public and work out because I was not comfortable. But speaking from the opposite side, speaking from the side of the seasoned runner who then sees the slightly overweight guy or gal trying to get running or whatever, somebody like myself doesn't necessarily look down on that person. In fact, it's a positive. Usually if I see somebody like that, I'm probably going to give them a thumbs up or a high five or something like that. It's not going to be the opposite. I'm not going to laugh at them. Also, most people are going to be so involved in their own little world, whether that be their podcast or their music or their text messaging, whatever the heck they're doing, whether that be in the gym or in public, that they're not going to notice you anyway. They're in their own little world. They can care less about you. So I wouldn't really worry about that. Intimidation is more of a mental thing that you just have to get past. Number 2, numero dos. Let's see. Aha. Running too fast. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, well, 2 things. Number 1, when you first start out, you run, you don't want to start out full speed, right? Get warmed up, take your time, get warmed up, and then you can go. You don't necessarily want the first half of your run to be that much more fast than the last half. You don't want to go out, burn yourself out early, that way the last half of your run is longer. It should be the opposite, actually. The last half of your run should be faster than the first half, ideally. Going too fast in general is also another thing where people think the faster you go, the better. That's not necessarily true, and I don't mean that you need to stay slow all the time, but in order to get fast and be efficient at being fast, you need to start slow. Faster doesn't necessarily mean better when you're starting out, so don't think that. Number 1, and this is a big one, which is why it's number 1, obviously, running too much. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. People think the more miles they run, the more weight they're going to lose, the faster they're going to lose it. Impatience is a big thing, and impatience can cause injury. It can cause a lot of problems, really. The weight's going to come off eventually anyway, as long as you're consistent. So, trying to rush things by running more miles and putting more stress on your body where it probably can't handle it and probably needs to be worried more about healing itself and so forth, is just a bad idea. You're gonna cause problems, probably injure yourself, and then you're not going to be able to run at all. And then, well, your weight loss at that point is going to suffer even more, because then, now you can't do any kind of activity because you went too hard. You blew yourself out. So running too much, too many miles to start out with, definitely a no-no. Set your goal, set a realistic goal, be consistent, and then consistently increase the amount of miles that you're doing per week. So let's say you're starting out with 10 a week. You're going to start out with 10 a week, and then you're going to increase it 10% per week as you continue. Now, eventually, you're going to get up to 20, 30 miles. Eventually, if you want to go that high, I should say. Just gradually increase it, though. You don't necessarily start from 0 to 30 miles a week. That doesn't work. You're going to hurt yourself. But that's about it. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the support. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody that swings by and watches the videos, we greatly appreciate it. Also, put in the comments down below if you think I missed something that should have been on the list, something that should have made the list that didn't, or something that you did. Now, I'll make a video later about mistakes that I made, and maybe you guys can chime in there too. But if you have a specific mistake that you remembered when you first started out, put it in the comments down below, guys. Let's share it. Let's be a community. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I've ran my mouth long enough. Till next time, guys, take care. What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video here. We're doing video part 1. Okay, let me start over. Scratch. What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video here, and we're starting a series. This is going to be video part number 1. Motherfucker. That's all I gotta say. Cut.